I cringe inside when people tell me they want to declutter. In this video, I'm going to tell you why I don't use the word clutter or declutter and why you shouldn't either. Hi, I'm Dara. I help people live a more minimalist lifestyle so they can focus on what matters most without getting overwhelmed along the way. If you'd like to live a simpler life, keep tuning in for more videos like this one. The word declutter is often used when talking about organizing and downsizing, but I think this is really problematic, and here's why. Clutter is a label that hides the problem. It makes it easier to ignore, like, oh, just clutter, there's too much clutter around here, I really should declutter someday. Well, what are you actually saying? When we label something, we make the decision not to pay attention to what it really is. We choose not to investigate or look any deeper. When you think about it, this type of labeling is sort of an easy way out. I mean, to say, oh, I have clutter here, or I should really declutter, is kind of a way of not doing it. Labels are a way that our human minds put things into categories, so it's a little bit easier to manage different ideas. But this becomes problematic when we use labels to actually hide instead of illuminate. When you label something as clutter, yeah, you feel kind of bad about it, but you're sort of letting yourself off the hook, right? You're just saying, it's just clutter, I'll declutter, not a big deal, I should do it now, it should have been done, but I could just do it later. You're not really paying attention to it, you're not really focusing on what's behind it. It's sort of like when you say, I should exercise more or eat better. You're acknowledging that those are things that probably would be better for you, but just by saying it and labeling it, you're passing it off in a way where you're really not focusing on unpacking the problem. And when you do that, you haven't really investigated the challenges behind them. You could say you need to exercise more, but if you haven't really thought about it and realized that you just don't like going to that particular gym, and that if you set up some space in your home to exercise, you'd be more likely to do it. But when you just say, I should exercise more too, and then you don't really look into it, you're never gonna exercise. And you've actually made it harder on yourself to exercise. The same thing with clutter. So, clutter isn't the problem. It's not the problem. The problem might be that the stuff in your home doesn't have a home. So it's not clutter, it's not the actual items itself, it's the fact that you don't have a system of putting things away. So of course things start to accumulate in some sort of untidy, unruly mess. Or maybe you actually have a place to put everything, but those places are actually hard to get to. It might be confusing, not everyone in your household knows where things go. So it's not just a home for each item, but it's a good home. It may be your problem that you just don't have any sort of maintenance schedule. So you might not even have that many things to begin with, but they become cluttered because you haven't set aside any time in your week to put things away, even if they do have a home. So incorporating systems and things like a maintenance schedule, which can be as simple as 1 hour a week, blast your favorite music and just put things away for an hour, that can be a maintenance schedule. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And it could be once every couple of weeks for 20 minutes. Just something that keeps you organized and constantly aware of your space. You also might be somebody who's best off spending a little bit of money every month on a cleaner. Some people really have difficulty maintaining a clean space, and it's not that it's not organized, it's not that they have too much stuff, it's just not something that they want to do. So think if there's money in your budget, maybe you trade off something else you don't need or want so much, like that gym membership that you never take advantage of, and hire a cleaner instead. Now, not surprisingly, I'm gonna add that maybe you have clutter because your real problem is you have like 90% more stuff than you need. This might simply be an issue of just way too much stuff, and it's really not about organizing or maintenance. And it may take you a while to truly go through all of those things and get rid of them, which is probably why you haven't and probably why you're just calling it clutter. So these are some of the problems that are actually hidden behind the label of clutter. This idea of clutter and decluttering has been really reinforced by all those before and after photos. You know, you've seen them on TV, you've seen them on Instagram, you've seen them in a lot of places. They give off this idea that, oh, this area was cluttered. It just had stuff everywhere. And then the next picture looks pristine, it looks amazing. And you never see what happens in between those two pictures. Were any of those items donated, given away, thrown away, recycled? Were any of those items just stuffed in a drawer somewhere else? Were they truly organized, or does it just look organized? And if it's organized, is it organized in a way that would actually be useful to you? Before and after photos are basically a means of instant gratification. Something looks messy, now it looks put away, that feels really good. But just like using the word declutter, it really hides the truth behind what's really going on. The activity of articulating the true and deeper meaning and causes behind what you've been calling clutter may be a bit more complex, but if you address these and really figure out what the true problems are, this will get you much closer to not only getting rid of clutter, but preventing clutter from happening again. So clutter isn't the problem. Figuring out what is and solving for that will get you the best results. And these results will be lasting. For more information about minimalism and making your life easier, be sure to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when a new video releases. And don't forget to find the resources that I left for you below. Thanks, see you next time.